You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the May 27th meeting for the Michigan City Water Works Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Call this meeting of the Water Board to order. Today is Tuesday, May 25th, 2025. First item on the agenda, the approval of minutes held May 12th.
I move that the minutes from the May 12th meeting be approved as presented.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the minutes from the meeting held May 12th. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Purchase orders.
Before you have a list of 11 purchase orders. The first purchase order is to Swan Analytical. This is chlorine analyzer reagents for $3,580. This is pretty much what we need to have for the year. The next item is to DeVries Tire. Tie rods for truck 15. This was a confirming PO. They actually broke while the truck was on the road, so fortunately there was no accidents or issues that way, but we did have to get the truck in and repaired. $802.47. The third item is to Computer Pros for 3 computer systems for $3,018. This is to replace some of our old desktop units that are currently Windows 10 and cannot be upgraded to the next level, so they need to be replaced. They're all in the 6 to 7 year old range, so we've gotten a good life out of them. The next item is to Reith Riley. This is 10th and Franklin Street street paving. This was a confirming purchase order. We did not get our quote from them in time for the last meeting, but we needed to get that road paved and opened up on Franklin Street ahead of the holiday weekend. So I did it as a confirming purchase order for $27,500. And then, just so you're aware, when the city comes back in, they're going to mill and pave that whole entire area, and we'll be supporting that based on the areas that we've cut up. We'll be helping to pay for that final mill and pave, because all that they put in there is what's called base material.
Okay.
It's not a finished product. It's just to last until that project gets far enough along that it's okay to pave again. The next one is also to Reith Riley. This is Franklin Street Panera Bread entrance. When we had the main break over on Franklin Street in front of Panera Bread, there was a pretty big area torn up of State Highway and also their entrance, which also included some concrete work. And then this is also the list of pavement repairs that we need to do from the winter. So this is $59,400 to get all of that work done. The next one, number 6, is to Midwest Meter, 1.5 inch meters for stock for $3,036. The next item, number 7, is to Secure Serve. It's onboarding and activation of IT services. The company that's been maintaining our server and all of our IT security for our business systems has decided that they're not going to do that anymore. So they had a company that they teamed up with, but this company is a company that actually had been doing that for them on our behalf. So this company we're actually familiar with as far as the people are concerned. So this is a one-time charge. The $2,823 is a one-time charge to get on board and activate their services. The next purchase order is the actual servicing. And this is a typo. This is actually managed IT services for 3 years. So this total amount of $126,468 is the 36 months of the monthly amount of $3,513. But what we're getting for that is a really robust IT protection and support. They have people that will be on site if we need them, but then they'll also have people at the ready to respond to us when we have problems. They'll also be monitoring our systems for example, if somebody inadvertently opens an email that has what's called like a Trojan horse, where there's a bad bit of program inside, they actually can see changes in our internet or in how our computer systems are working, and they can maybe catch that before it becomes a catastrophic event. In light of the expanded efforts of several outside entities, there's just the general folks that are trying to do things like they do the word slipped my mind, ransomware, that sort of thing, which we also have insurance to help us with. But there is actually efforts by some foreign countries to try to get into utilities in the U.S. to break in and figure out a way to get to whatever they can get to. So this is well documented in the federal government, and I get a lot of this information. So I think it's well in our it's a strong idea to do this and protect our systems, and then they can keep up with updates and all those things. The places where people have fallen prey is by not doing enough updates and not monitoring the system thoroughly. So these folks are dedicated to doing that for us. And like I said, this is a total amount for the 3 years, but it's $3,500 a month. We currently don't pay quite that much for that kind of security, but the people that were doing it aren't going to do it anymore. So we were going to have to get somebody anyway. So Chris looked through a couple of offerings, and this one was the most thorough in what they were offering, and there's very little price difference between the two. So number 9 is to Ferguson. This is replacement stock for main brakes. I think that's repair clamps. The next one is to Siemens, pressure transmitters for filter control. We approved a purchase order a couple of weeks ago for some equipment for $3,764. Unfortunately, the representative put the wrong equipment down for us and admitted that was his mistake. The correct equipment had a little bit higher cost. So we've sent back the equipment under this $3,764, and so that's not getting paid. And so this will be instead $5,076 for the correct equipment.
Okay.
And then the next one is to Kona Cranes. This is our service contract for crane inspections and maintenance, which we're obligated to do under OSHA regulations. So that's all of them.
I'll make a motion to accept the list of purchase orders dated 5/27/2025 in the amount of $240,098.47.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the purchase order dated May 27th as presented. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Claims.
Motion to approve the list of claims dated May 27, 2025.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second that we accept the list of claims dated May 27th. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Financials. Yes.
I'll just run through our cash flow on page 2 real quick. We took in $658,799 for the month. We did recover $339 in bad debts. Our disbursements were $740,241. We spent $21,120 for inventory purchases and $119,470 for capital items. Left us with an ending balance of $77,296 for the operating account. On page 3, I was going to mention our total operating revenues are up a little bit over the prior year, but our year-to-date is actually down a little bit from the prior year. Everything on this page was pretty much below forecast except for the distribution line. We had a major truck repair in there for engine overhauls, and that drove that line over forecast. Our net loss for the month before depreciation was $6,259. Year to date it was $59,836. Of course, after depreciation, our net loss was $130,259 for the month, $555,836 year to date. On page 4, everything on this page is pretty uneventful. Our transportation expense line is over forecast. That's where the truck repairs expense hit. And our miscellaneous line is slightly over forecast. We got our AWWA expenses fall in there. Purchase power, I think, is just usage or possibly going time.
It's no scope, the increase from the scope.
Yeah. If there are any questions, that's all I've got.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial statement approved for April 2025 by Chris Wolf.
I'll second that.
Motion and second that we accept the financials as presented dated April 2025. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next item, authorize posting trucks and excavators for bid.
Yes, we have two crew trucks that are the trucks that we were using for main breaks and construction activities, held all the tools. They were 2009 Sterlings, Sterling Bullet, which is basically it's a Dodge Ram, but with the Sterling name on it. And basically we got to a point where they were due for replacement anyway, but they were starting to give us mechanical issues as well that were going to be costly to repair. So we have replaced those two vehicles, and we had been offered a $1,000 trade-in on one of them, and the engine's worth a lot more than that. just by itself. So what I'd like to do, and then we also have this 2012 Caterpillar excavator. We did get a lot of use out of it over the years, but it is in rough shape. It does not run, it hasn't been run in a while, because we did get some pretty dire news about what it was gonna need to repair it, and it didn't make sense to do. And now what we're doing is when we have a project like Franklin Street, we rent an excavator, so we don't have to take on the cost of ownership and maintenance. Replacing an excavator like this would be in the $160,000 to $160,000 to $180,000 range. So it doesn't make sense for us to buy one if we're going to have it just sit around most of the time. So basically, we currently use straight line depreciation, a 50-year straight line depreciation for all of our capital equipment. So things like buildings and water mains, that's not too bad to do 50 years, but when you talk about a piece of equipment like a truck or an excavator, they don't have a 50-year lifespan. So there will be residual that has to be written off. But Chris has been depreciating them over their life. And prior to Chris, Ron was doing it as well. So they have some depreciation, but we'll have to write off a good chunk of depreciation at the end of it. That doesn't really, it's just for bookkeeping basically, because we don't get any tax benefit out of that. That's the kind of entity we are. But the plan is to do sealed bids, put an advertisement in the local paper, and let people bid on them and see what we get. And they'll be sold as is through the bid, and we won't do anything to fix them or make them operate or anything. The only thing that we will be doing with them is working on getting a price right now to remove our logos from the trucks. I don't believe the piece of equipment has our logo on it, but any of our logos will have to be removed by us before we sell it. So I'm working on getting that price right now. Got Sarah working on that. So basically, I just want permission to engage Attorney McDonald to help write up the legal advertisement that we need to have. Make sure I don't miss any critical pieces to the advertisement, and we'll get it set up, and the bids will be open at a future board meeting.
Is there a reason we need to take the logo off?
Yeah, that way if somebody does buy it, they can't drive up to people's homes and have people think that they're part of us.
Yeah, so they are still functional.
They probably could, yeah, I think the trucks can run and they could be driven, and it's just something that it's for our customer safety.
So you need a motion.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to authorize posting trucks and excavators for bid.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we allow the superintendent to post trucks and excavators for bid. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Old business?
Under old business, just a couple things. On May 15th, we hosted a school tour with 47 third graders, 3 teachers, and 4 chaperones from Knapp Elementary. And then on the 19th, we hosted 50 8th graders with 4 teachers from Barker Middle School. So year to date, we've had 138 students, 9 teachers, and 10 chaperones come through for tours of the plant. Pretty
That's
good.
awesome. Awesome.
And then the other item I have is a reminder that our next board meeting is going to be June 17th, which is actually the third Tuesday. And that was in our schedule that was approved back in December. I'm supposed to be in Denver for the ACE conference that week.
So when is it?
The next
June
meeting will be
17th.
June 17th, which is the Tuesday, and it's the same time.
Then we would have the next meeting the following week, on the 24th?
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, because we do need to approve all the claims and, pay as many of the invoices as we can so they don't run over. So it'll be a quick turnaround.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's it. That's all I have for old business.
New business?
Under new business, you have a copy in your packet of a fuel tank agreement. So we have had our fuel tanks for a very long time. They were with what was the name of our local fuel guy? Knoll Brothers. And of course, Knoll Brothers has sold to another company. We have noticed that our the spill containment on those fuel tanks are getting in very bad condition, to where really it won't do much of anything. They won't hold any spills, I don't believe. So we need to get rid of them, and it's time to upgrade. We communicated with the company that took over for Knoll Brothers. They presented us with their options, and then we also got another company to get us, and to bring this up. What happens with these agreements is they end up owning the tanks. They are responsible for maintenance and upkeep on the tanks, regular maintenance and upkeep unless we damage it. The fuel itself, we don't lock in a price for fuel because it's so variable on the market. In order to do that, you actually usually end up, unless gas goes, gasoline and diesel goes through the roof, you usually end up paying extra because they have to plan for the potential that could go up. So right now, we're just, in both cases, we were market-based. The other company's contract agreement put a lot of the responsibility for the maintenance and upkeep of those fuel tanks on us. Like, for example, if the fuel tank was faulty from the manufacturer and leaked, we were going to be responsible for the cleanup. That shouldn't be on us. So this particular agreement was more in line with what we were looking for. Plus, this is actually going to have some automation to it, where they're going to be able to keep track of where we are with fuel and actually, get us deliveries, and possibly work them out to where they can get us a better deal sometimes with regard to the market as well, where they see, gasoline and diesel prices going down. They may be able to bring us in a load a little early or something like that to save us some money. The other company, we have had some issues with them actually getting out. We've called them for fills, and we've actually run out of fuel a couple times already. So we haven't been real happy with the service we were getting either. So basically, I just like the board to approve me signing this contract with the new fuel vendor. Like I said, the dollars are, as far as gasoline and diesel is concerned, that's market value, market pricing. Neither place was locking in any kind of prices. And then these tanks will be theirs. They will be the sole supplier to these tanks. And there's nothing in this contract that holds us for any length of time either. If this doesn't turn out to be, positive, then we can look at other options. We're not locked in for any multi-year terms or anything like that either.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the agreement with the fuel tank company as presented.
Second.
There's a motion second that we approve the fuel tank agreement as presented. Any additional discussion?
I have one question.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the attorney's seen it?
I didn't bring it to him.
Okay.
I didn't bring it to him because, this
It's
is a
kinda basic, but-
very clear, it's very clear.
Okay.
And, they say in there, the maintenance on the tanks is no charge to us. And if there's misuse or abuse, then of course we would have to pay for them, and that's fair enough. I mean, if we damage it, we should pay to fix it. But if it's just, in 5 years, the thing's starting to rot away, then that gets on them. So,
Okay.
All right, on the question. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Sorry.
Motion carries.
thank you.
Any other new business?
That's all I had at this point.
Public comments? Director comments? Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second. We adjourn.